I don't know if it's smug on my part, but it's right around this time of year that I'm especially proud to be a priest of the Diocese of Boise, because for decades now, going back to Bishop Trinan, those of you that can remember Bishop Trinan, in the 60s, the 70s, he took New Year's Day with whatever the name of the feast was, and it's kind of changed over the years. Now we call it the Feast of Mary, Mother of God. But in the Diocese of Boise, this day has also been designated as a day of prayer for world peace and justice. And there aren't many other dioceses that have taken that on. After Bishop Trinan had established it, his friend Bishop Conley over in Baker also decided to adopt it. And so when you look here in the Northwest, you look in the, we call the Ordo, or the official documents, we're the only two dioceses that designate January 1st, in addition to being the Feast of Mary, Mother of God, being a day of prayer for world peace and justice. And I'm proud that we do that. Because I think it's an important way for us to start the year. It really is our gospel call. So I want you to think for a moment. I don't need to see a show of hands, although it'd be interesting to do it, but to just ask, how many of you here have already made New Year's resolutions? Okay. Let me put it another way. How many of you here, not having anything to do with your weight or body mass, have made a New Year's resolution? I have resolved, usually I don't fall in for all of that, but this year I have solemnly resolved that this year, I'm not going to make any New Year's resolutions. Broke it already. Doggone it. If you need a New Year's resolution, one that I would suggest for you, simple, little one. 2 words. This year, I resolve to be God. Now, let me explain. I don't mean you actually have to achieve that. Okay, the attitude of I'm going to be God. No, that's not really something we should take upon us. I mean, Father Len does, but that's his bad priest. But nevertheless, this year, be God. Many years ago, a film called The Man Who Played God was released. It featured the great character actor George Arliss playing the part of a rich, prominent musician. Because he was losing his hearing, the musician became embittered and cynical. Not only did he turn his back on his friends, he turned his back on God. He moved into a penthouse where he began to learn the art of lip reading. From his penthouse window overlooking a park, he would look through a pair of high-powered binoculars and try to read people's lips. One day, he concentrated on a young man whose lips were moving in prayer. He determined what it was that the young man was praying for, and then dispatched his butler to deliver it to him. On another occasion, he read the lips of a woman who was telling another about something she needed and wanted desperately. Again, the wealthy man saw to it that the need was met. Each time he performed one of these services, the cynical musician would look heavenward and laugh in God's face. He found it laughable that he was playing God, but didn't even believe in God. But as time went by, and his eccentric method of meeting people's needs continued, something strangely wonderful began to happen. The man who played God found God. Through the game he was playing, the game of serving people's needs. The very God he did not believe in became real to him. Because God is a God of service. So like I say, this year, maybe I need to resolve to be God, to be dedicated to service, to get out of myself and go beyond myself and focused on others. Maybe this year I need to try to be God by really trying to care each day. To not be quick to judge, to not be cynical, to look for the good, to look through the eyes of God, because when God looks at us, he looks through the eyes of love and he sees the good. Maybe for this year, I need to make sure that there's a particular prayer that I take more seriously, because it is how I will become more like God. I think most of you know the prayer. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, let me help bring about pardon. Where there is doubt, let me reassure with faith. Where there is despair, let me lift up because of hope. Where there is darkness, Lord, let me do something other than criticize the darkness or add to it, or just spend time in my own darkness. Let me bring your light. And where there is sadness, and there's lots of sadness, even with my own sadness, Lord, help me to not wallow in it, but with the faith and with the hope and with the joy that you offer me. Let me be one who is willing to go out of my way. Give that joy to others. Because in doing so, I will become more like God. And that's what he calls us to. So this year, you can take the second O if you want to. Say, this year, I'm going to be good. But hey, let yourself be reminded of what that good is truly all about. This year, I'm going to try to be God that other people need, that they will know God that we all need. Happy New Year.